Hymn 628, Cows. 8 verses. The kine have come and brought good fortune. Let them rest in the cow pen and be happy near us. Here let them stay prolific, many-colored, and yield through many morns their milk for Indra. Indra aids him who offers sacrifice and gifts. He takes not what is his and gives him more thereto, increasing evermore and evermore his wealth. He makes the pious dwell within unbroken bounds. These are ne'er lost. No robber ever injures them. No evil-minded foe attempts to harass them. The master of the kine lives many a year with these, the cows whereby he pours his gifts and serves the gods. The charger with his dusty brow o'ertakes him not, and never to the shambles do they take their way. These cows, the cattle of the pious worshipper, roam over widespread pasture where no danger is. To me the cows seem Bhaga, they seem Indra, they seem a portion of the first poured Soma. These present cows, they, O ye Indra. I long for Indra with my heart and spirit. O cows, ye fatten e'en the worm and wasted. Make the unlovely beautiful to look on. Prosper my house with auspicious voices. Your power is glorified in our assemblies. Crop goodly pasturage and be prolific. Drink pure sweet water at good drinking places. Never be thief or sinful man your matter. And may the dart of Rudra still avoid you. Now let this close admixture be close intermingled with these cows, mixed with the steer's prolific flow, and Indra with thy hero might. And cows aren't deity. Cows are representatives of deity, as you could say, just like the other things benefit. And one of the things about cows that we have nowadays is some of this stuff that happens with the machines that people would say is cruel or heartless. Well, that's because we've handed it over for machines to do the slaughter and the milking and all that stuff. And the cows have evolved as they have because of humans corralling them off and all that. And I would say that a cow that could be milked was kept alive more, and that, kind of led to that. And never be thief or sinful man your master. Is that what it's supposed to say? Hymn 629, Indra, 6 verses. Your men have followed Indra for his friendship, and for his loving kindness glorify him, for he bestows great wealth. The thunder wielder worship him, great and kind to win his favor, him to whose hand men closely cling, and drivers stand on his golden chariot firmly stationed. With his firm arms he holds the reins, his horses, the stallions, are yoked, ready for the journey. Thy devotees embrace thy feet for glory. Bold, thunder-armed, rich through thy strength and guerdon, robed in a garment, fair as heaven to look on, thou hast displayed thee like an active dancer. That Soma, when infused, hath best consistence, for which the food is dressed, and a grain is mingled, by which the men who pray, extolling Indra, chief favorites of gods, recite their praises. No limit of thy might hath been appointed, which by its greatness sundered earth and heaven. These the prince filleth full with strong endeavor, driving as 'twere with help his flocks to waters. So be the lofty Indra, prompt to listen, helper, unaided, golden-visored hero. Yea, so may he, shone forth in might, unequaled, smite down the many Vitras and the Dasyas, and elixir as it may be, a sacred meal includes the liquid and the solid. The blood or spirit and the flesh are earth. Hymn 630, Indra, 5 verses. Indra hath waxed yet more for hero prowess, alone, eternal, he bestoweth treasures. Indra transcendeth both the worlds in greatness, one half of him equaleth earth and heaven. Yea, mighty, I esteem his godlike nature, none hindereth what he hath once determined. Near and afar he spread, and set the regions, and every day the sun became apparent. E'en now endures thine exploit of the rivers, when Indra for their floods thou clavest passage, like men who sit at meat, the mountains settled. By thee, most wise, the regions were made steadfast. This is the truth. None else is like thee, Indra. No god superior to thee, no mortal. Thou slewest Ahe, who besieged the waters, and lettest loose the streams to hurry seaward. Indra, thou breakest up the floods and portals on all sides. In the firmness of the mountain, thou art the king of men, of all that liveth, engendering at once sun, heaven, and morning. That in the place, and the time are certainly things that we can think of with other examples. Hymn 631, 5 verses. Sole Lord of wealth art thou, O Lord of riches. Thou in thine hands hast held the people, Indra. Men have invoked thee with contending voices for seed and waters, progeny and sunlight, through fear of thee, O Indra. All the regions of earth through naught may move them, shake and tremble. All that is firm and frightened at thy coming, the earth, the heaven, the mountain, and the forest. With Kutsa, Indra, thou didst conquer Sushna, voracious, bane of crops, in fight for cattle. In the close fray thou rentest him, thou stolest the sun's wheel, and didst drive away misfortunes. Thou smotest to the ground the 100 castles impregnable of Sambara the Dasyu. When strong with might, thou holpedst Devadasa, who poured libations out, O Soma buyer, and madest Bharadvaja rich, who praised thee as such, true hero, for great joy of battle mount thy terrific car. O brave and manly, come with thine help to me, thou distant roamer and glorious God, spread among men my glory. Now, no matter how firm we are, we should be moved by divinity, or according to divinity. Hymn 632, Indra, 5 verses. I with my lips have fashioned for this hero words never matched, most plentiful and auspicious for him, the ancient, great, strong, energetic, this very mighty wielder of the thunder. Amid the sages with the sun he brightened, the parents glorified he burst the mountain, and roaring with the holy thoughted singers, he loosed the bond that held the beams of morning. Famed for great deeds, with priests who kneel and laud him, he still hath conquered in the frays for cattle, and broken down the forts, the fort destroyer, a friend with friends, a sage among the sages. Come with thy girthed mares, with abundant vigor and plenteous strength, to him who sings thy praises. Come hither, borne by mares with many heroes, lover of song, steer for the people's wealth. Indra with rush and might, sped by his coursers, have swiftly won the waters from the southward. Thus, set at liberty, the rivers daily flow to their goal, incessant and exhaustless. The goal are the cycles of nature are meant to be on their own terms. Sure, we can harness water for agriculture and all that, but I mean, this thing where we stop up rivers and the fish, die up in dams, and a lot of that goes too far. Hymn 633, Indra, 5 verses. Give us the rapture that is mightiest, Indra, prompt to bestow and swift to aid, O hero, that wins with brave steeds where brave steeds encounter, and quells the Vritras and the foes in battle. For with loud voice the tribes invoke thee, Indra, to aid them in the battlefield of heroes. Thou with the singers hast pierced through the Panas. The charger whom thou aidest wins the booty. Both races, Indra, of opposing foemen. O hero, both the Arya and the Dasa, hast thou struck down like woods with well-shot lightnings. Thou rentest them in fight, most manly chieftain. Indra, befriend us with no scanty succor. Prosper and aid us, loved of all that liveth. When fighting for the sunlight, we invoke thee, O hero, in the fray, in war's division. Be ours, O Indra, now and for the future. Be graciously inclined and near to help us. Thus may we, singing, sheltered by the mighty, win many cattle on the day of trial. And even when we're fighting in self-defense, let us remember to actively implore God in the process. Hymn 634, Indra. 5 verses. Many full songs have met in thee, O Indra, and many a noble thought from thee proceedeth. Now and from of old the eulogies of sages, their holy hymns and lauds, have yearned for Indra. He praised of many, bold, invoked of many, alone is glorified at sacrifices. Like a car harnessed for some great achievement, Indra must be the cause of our rejoicing. They make their way to Indra and exalt him who no prayers and no laudations trouble. For when 100 or 1,000 singers laud him who loves their song, their praise delights him, as brightness mingles with the moon in heaven. The offered Soma yearns to mix with Indra, like water brought to men in desert places. Our gifts at sacrifice have still refreshed him. To him this mighty eulogy, to Indra hath this our laud been uttered by the poets, that in the great encounter with the foeman, loved of all life, Indra may guard and help us. And when we're invoking and evoking deity, well, we don't have to worry about that shall not have two masters thing. Of course, we're not claiming to be masters over God or something like that. But the Karsists, the ones that try to constrain spirits and all that stuff, well, what if there's somebody else working on that same spirit? Of course, the grimoires, one of the secrets about them is we're really talking about legions, but that's one of the problems with worshiping other than God. Hymn 635, Indra. 5 verses. When shall our prayers rest in thy car beside thee? When dost thou give the singer food for thousands? When wilt thou clothe this poet's laud with plenty? And when wilt thou enrich our hymns with booty? When wilt thou gather men with men, O Indra, heroes with heroes, and prevail in combat? Thou shalt win triply kine in praise for cattle, so Indra give thou us celestial glory. Yea, when wilt thou, O Indra, thou most mighty, make the prayer all sustaining for the singer? When wilt thou yoke, as we yoke songs, thy horses, and come to offerings that bring wealth and cattle? Grant to the singer food with store of cattle, splendid with horses, and the fame of riches. Send food to spoil the cow, good at milking. Bright be its shine among the Bharadvajas. Lead otherwise this present foeman, Sakra. Hence art thou praised as hero, foe destroyer. Him who gives pure gifts may I praise unceasingly. Sage, quicken the Angarasas by devotion. Now, milk can make it easier for some to consume opiates and hallucinogenic mushrooms, but we also see the similarity in between things, right? Because the opium sap, you need to cut the the pods are, you need to press the stem. And I'm not advocating, drug use. It's not necessary here, but, and, the milk is preserved. It's, there's stuff that you don't want and stuff that, that both organisms produce. Hymn 636, Indra, 5 verses. Thy raptures ever were, for all men's profit, so evermore have been thine earthly riches. Thou still hast been the dealer forth of vigor, since among gods thou hast had power and godhead. Men have obtained his strength by sacrificing, and ever urged him on to hero valor. For the rein seizing, the impetuous charger, they furnished power even for virtuous slaughter. Associate with him as teams of horses, help, manly might and vigor, follow Indra. As rivers reach the sea so strong with praises, our holy songs reach him, the comprehensive. Lauded by us, let flow the spring, O Indra, of excellent and brightly shining riches. For thou art Lord of men, without an equal, of all the world thou art the only sovereign. Hear what thou mayest hear, thou who fain for worship, as heaven girds earth, guardest thy servant's treasure, that thou mayest be our own, joying in power fame through thy might in every generation. And we may think we can do things alone, and if we are alone, yeah, sure, we can try to accomplish things as best we can, but it's best to work in groups and to nurture the means for some things. 637, Indra, 5 verses. Let thy bay horses, yoked, O mighty Indra, bring thy car hither, fraught with every blessing for thee the heavenly in the poor invoketh. May we this day thy feast companions prosper, forth to the vat the brown drops flow for service, purified, proceeded directly forward. May Indra drink of this, our guest aforetime, celestial king of the strong draught of Soma, bringing us hitherward all-potent Indra on well-wheeled chariot. May steeds who bear him convey him on the road direct to glory, and ne'er may values Amrita cease and fail him. Supreme he stirs this man to give the guerdon. Indra, most efficacious of the princes, wherewith, O Thunderer, thou removest sorrow, and bold one, partest wealth among the nobles. Indra is he who gives best enduring vigor. May our songs magnify the God most mighty. Best Vritra slayer, be the hero Indra. These things he gives as prince with strong endeavor. The brown drops indicate that we're talking about mushrooms, right? But soma, again, as much as there's here's where we make the soma, opium, ephedra, and marijuana, the reference also clearly refers to certain mushrooms too. But all this talk about car and that sort of stuff, well, see, we know the vehicle, we know, things that aren't the essence of God, and hymn 638, Indra, 5 verses. He hath drunk hence, most marvelous, and carried away our great and splendid call on Indra. The bounteous, when we serve the gods, accepteth song, yet more famous, and the gifts we bring him. The speaker filleth with a cry to Indra, his ears who cometh nigh, e'en from a distance. May this my call bring Indra to my presence, this call to gods composed in sacred verses. Him have I sung with my best song and praises. Indra of ancient birth and everlasting, for prayer and songs in him are concentrated. But laud wax mighty when addressed to Indra, Indra whom sacrifice shall strengthen, soma and song and hymn and praises and devotion, whom dawn shall strengthen when the night departeth, Indra whom days shall strengthen, months and autumns, him born for conquering might in full perfection, and waxen strong for bounty and for glory, great powerful, will we today, O singer, invite to aid us and to quell our foemen. And let us say the best verses, and in the best way that we can. Hymn 639, Indra. 5 verses. Of this our charming, our celestial Soma, eloquent wise, priest with inspired devotion, of this thy close attendant hast thou drunken. God send the singer food with milk to grace it, craving the kine, rushing against the mountain, led on by law, with holy-minded comrades. He broke the never-broken ridge of Vala. With words of might, Indra subdued the Paneths. This Indu lighted darksome nights, O Indra, throughout the years, at morning and at evening. Him have they established as the day's bright ensign. He made the mornings to be born in splendor. He shone and caused to shine the worlds that shone not. By law he lighted up the host of mornings. He moves with steeds yoked by eternal order, contenting men with knave that finds the sunlight. Now praised, O ancient king, fill thou the singer with plenteous food, that he may deal forth treasures. Give waters herbs that have no poison, forests and kine, and steeds and men to him who lauds thee. And we'll get our rewards here and hereafter, but we don't always choose which we get here. Hymn 640, 5 verses. Drink, Indra, juice is shed to make thee joyful. Loose thy bay steeds, and give thy friends their freedom. Begin the song seated in our assembly. Give strength for sacrifice to him who singeth. Drink thou of this, whereof at birth, O Indra, thou drankest, mighty one for power and rapture. The men pressing stones, the cows, the waters have made the Soma ready for thy drinking. The fire is kindled, Soma pressed. O Indra, let thy bays, best to draw, convey thee hither. With mind devoted, Indra, I invoke thee. Come, for our great prosperity, approach us. Indra, come hither. Evermore thou camest through our great strong desire to drink the Soma. Listen and hear the prayers which now we offer, and let this sacrifice increase thy vigor. Mayest thou, O Indra, on the day of trial, present or absent, wheresoever thou dwellest, thence with thy team, accordant with the Marutas, song lover, guard our sacrifice to help us. Now, spirit and matter are not inherently in conflict. Hymn 641, Indra, 5 verses. Come gracious to our sacrifice, O Indra, pressed Soma drops are purified to please thee, as cattle seek their home. So thunder wielder, come Indra, first of those who claim our worship, with that well-formed, most wide-extending pellet, wherewith thou ever drinkest streams of sweetness. Drink thou the Advaryu standeth up before thee. Let thy spoil-winning thunderbolt attend thee. This drop steering strong and omniform. The Soma hath been made ready for the bull, for Indra. Drink this, Lord of the bays, thou strong supporter. This, that is thine of old, thy food forever. Soma, when pressed, excels the unpressed Soma better, for one who knows. To give him pleasure, come to this sacrifice of ours, O Victor. Replenish all thy powers with this libation. We call on thee, O Indra. Come thou hither, sufficient to be Sufficient be the soma for thy body. Rejoice thee, Satakratu, in the juices. Guard us in wars. Guard us among our people. Now, whatever we have to offer, that's enough. Divinity can accept that. Hymn 642, Indra, 4 verses. Bring sacrificial gifts to him, omniscient, for he longs to drink, the wanderer who comes with speed, the hero ever in the van. With soma go ye nigh to him, chief drinker of the soma's juice, with beakers to the impetuous god, to Indra, with the drops infused. What time with soma, with the juice infused, ye come before the god. Full wise he knows the hope of each, and bold one strikes this foe and that. To him advaryu, yea, to him give offerings of the juice expressed. Will he not keep us safely from the spiteful curse of each presumptuous, high-born foe? And remember that the things that we involve in our worship, both the substances and the things said or thought, are formulaic. Hymn 643, Indra, 4 verses. In whose wild joy thou madest once Sambara, Devadasa's prey, this soma is pressed out for thee, O Indra, drink, whose gladdening draught shed from the points thou guardest in the midst and end. This soma is pressed out for thee, O Indra, drink, in whose wild joy thou settest free the kine held fast within the rock. This soma is pressed out for thee, O Indra, drink, this in whose juice delighting thou gangest the might of Mangavan. This soma is pressed out for thee, O Indra, drink. And one might think from stuff like this, is God hungry and thirsty? It's like, well, no, that's not really what we mean. But let's take lesson 2 of what we're asking, because, at the beginning or before, during, and at the end or after, that we have the right intentions for what we're doing. 644, Indra, 24 verses. That which is wealthiest, wealthy God in splendors most illustrious, soma is pressed thy gladdening draught. Indra, libation's lord, is this, effectual, most effectual one. Thine is bestowing wealth of hymns, soma is pressed thy gladdening draught. Indra, libation's lord, is this, wherewith thou art increased in strength, and conquerest with thy proper aids. Soma is pressed thy gladdening draught. Indra, libation's lord, is this, him for your sake I glorify as Lord of strength, who wrongeth none. The hero Indra, conquering all, most bounteous, God of all the tribes. Those goddesses, both heaven and earth, revere the power and might of him whom our songs increase in strength, the Lord of bounty, swift to come. To seat your Indra I will spread abroad, with power this song of praise. The saving succors that abide in him, like songs, extend and grow. A recent friend, he found the skillful priest, he drank, and showed forth treasure from the gods. He conquered, borne by strong, all-shaking mares, and was, with far-spread power, his friend's protector. In course of law the sapient juice was quaffed. The deities to glory turned their mind. Winning through hymns a lofty title, he, the glory, turned their mind. Winning through hymns a lofty title, he, the lovely, made his beauteous form apparent. Bestow on us the most illustrious strength, ward off men's manifold malignities. Give with thy might abundant vital force, and aid us graciously in gaining riches. We turn to thee as giver, liberal Indra. Lord of the bay steeds, be not thou ungracious. No friend among mankind have we to look to. Why have men called thee to him who spurs the niggard? Give us not up, strong hero, to the hungry unharmed. Be we whom thou so rich befriendest. Full many a boon hast thou for men. Demolish those who present no gifts, nor pour oblations. As Indra thundering impels the rain clouds, so doth he send us store of kine and horses. Thou art of old the cherisher of singers. Let not the rich who bring no gifts deceive thee. The Varyu, hero, bring to mighty Indra, for he is king thereof. The pressed out juices, to him exalted by the hymns and praises, ancient and modern, of the singing wretches. In the wild joy of this hath Indra, knowing full many a form, struck down resistless Vritras. Proclaim aloud to him the savory soma, so that the hero, strong of jaw, may drink it. May Indra drink the soma, poured to please him, and cheered therewith slave Vritra with his thunder. Come to our sacrifice, even from a distance, good lover of our songs, the bard supporter. The cup whence Indra drinks the draught is present. The Amrita, dear to Indra, hath been drunken, that it may cheer the god to gracious favor, and keep far from us hatred and affliction. Therewith enraptured hero, slayer foeman, the unfriendly Mangavan, be they kin or strangers, those who still aim their hostile darts to smite us, turn them to flight. O Indra, crush and kill them. O Indra Mangavan, in these our battles win easy paths for us and ample freedom, that we may gain waters and seed and offspring. Set thou our princes on thy side, O Indra. Let thy bay stallions harnessed bring thee hither, steeds with strong chariot and strong reins to hold them, strong horses speeding hither, bearing thunder well harnessed for the strong exciting potion. Beside the vat, strong god, stand thy strong horses, shining with holy oil, like waves exulting. Indra, they bring to thee the strong and mighty soma of juices shed by mighty press stones. Thou art the bowl of earth, the bowl of heaven, the bowl of rivers, bowl of standing waters. For thee the strong, O bowl, hath Indu swollen, juice pleasant, sweet to drink, for thine election. This god with might, when first he had his being, with Indra for ally, held fast the Panna. This Indu stole away the warlike weapons, and foiled the arts of his malignant father. The dawns he wedded to a glorious concert, and set within the sun the light that lights him. He found in heaven, in the third lucid regions, the threefold Amrita. In its close concealment, he stayed and held the heaven and earth asunder. The chariot with the sevenfold reins he harnessed. This soma set with power within the milch kine, a spring, whose ripe contents 10 fingers empty. And Panne, I think that's the first time we see that in the singular. But, a more important lesson is here this idea of those poles. The niggardly, which is not the word that we would use for stingy nowadays, because of what it sounds like, and the liberal, but not liberal as in liberal conservative fundamentalist reform, and there's some sort of credit or demerit for what we encourage people to be free towards, or people to hold back with.